Hey, hope everyone's well. Thanks for being here. It's Brian. So in continuation of yesterday's video, you are in this place right now where you're at this last bridge in transition from your existing life to that ideal life, that perfect life that you've always envisioned, that one that's in your imagination every day. You've told your friends about it. You've said, if I could do anything, this would be it. There's two things that if we see them from the right perspective, are going to be the last pieces to help you finish that transition and to really live in this life you've always envisioned for yourself. So when I give you this perspective, it's all going to click for you. And when any reservation comes up about making this move, you're going to know exactly what to think and where your mindset needs to be. So the first thing is the problem that I had in making this transition, which you may be having too, and that is you've created some level of safety for yourself. You've done well, but only in a semi-aligned life, right? You've done some things that you wanted, but other things you feel have been externally influenced. But this safety that you've created for yourself, this monetary success that allows you to pay the bills and allows you to live every day in the known, like you know what's going to happen, is keeping you from making that last move. Why? Because you put more weight on losing what you have now, that safety net, that ability to pay your bills, that living in the known. You put more weight on that than what you can extract by stepping into this highest vision. This vision of things that you've always wanted to do. So you're holding on to this safety. This is what I did. I had a paycheck, I was making good money, and I never, for the longest time I did, but for the longest time I never made the transition to my ideal lifestyle. But you're seeing that now, you're starting to see that. So we have to believe that everything is possible for us, right? And we have to put more weight on this potential of living the exact life we want than keeping this level of safety that we have now. So this is thing one. The other thing that could be keeping you from making this last transition, and we'll talk about the solution to both of these. But the other thing that could be keeping you from making this transition is you're identifying with some version of yourself that's human-based in this 3D plane. So you're identifying with that instead of your higher self, right? And this comes from a lot of familiar places. Somebody told you something when you were a kid, possibly, that said, you're never good at this. This is not your talent. And you've hung on to that as part of your identity structure. Or maybe you failed in something and you labeled yourself as not being able to do certain things. And it's this identity structure that you're clinging to that doesn't allow you to make this step, because it might even be subconsciously. You might say, well, I can't really go into my highest vision because I was never successful doing X, or somebody said this about me, but you're not that person. All possibilities exist for you. So the solution for both of these issues is what you've been doing. You've been seeking more knowledge about your higher self. You've been getting more in touch with your soul, knowing who you are in your infinite, boundless, timeless state. And you're starting to attach more with that identity, which is not even an identity, right? It's all possibility. It is all identities. It's anything you could want. You're starting to relate more to that side of yourself, your soul state, than you are any identity that you were attached to from history. What people told you about yourself, what you believed through certain events, it's not true. It's not who you are. That is an earthly construct. You're a boundless, infinite being capable of anything. So we're going to let go of this definition of ourselves from the past. That's just something that's created on this earth plane. It's not real. And we're going to move into this higher self where all possibilities are available for us. And this is your last step. We can step away from the safety that we've created for ourselves because we know all possibilities are available for us. And when we go from living in this state of being half attached to safety and only half attached to our inspiration, and we move to full inspiration, knowing who we are, the path opens up for us and it lights naturally. Everything is provided for us. Our higher self supports our earthly self. The universe supports us. Everything will be provided for us because we're in tune with who we are. We're chasing our highest vision. We're chasing our dream life. That's our purpose here. And the same way with the challenge number 2 that we've had is we know that when we identify with this boundless, timeless, infinite self, that we can't be some definition of what somebody told us or what we identify with from one failure we had in the past. We've used to define ourselves and keep us from making this last step. You are not the consequence of one event. You are every possibility, and you're starting to see that now. And so when this last opportunity comes up for you, which it's coming up very soon, you're making this transition now, know who you are. All possibility. Everything will be supported for you. Everything will be given to you. And there'll be some work involved, but it's going to feel aligned and it's going to feel like the right work. It's never effortless, but it's just the right energetic expenditure when you're in this place of full connection to who you are. Let go of this little bit of safety that you've created for infinite possibility. Let go of this person that you think you might be, that you heard in history, because you're way more than that. And now is the time to fully step into that vision that you've always had for yourself. And see yourself, envision in your mind that person, step into that person. Because I know in a very short time, you're going to be telling everybody about your successes. You're going to be telling me about your successes. You're going to look back and be like, I finally made that last step. I made it happen. I cannot wait to hear about it. You're on this precipice and you're about to jump. Congratulations on all your success. I'll talk to you soon.